Hi Cancer, welcome to your mid-month reading. And this is a reading for Cancer Sun and Cancer Rising only, okay? So not for your moon. And the reason for that is because I want to have an AstroChat here with you and talk about the astrology of the moment and then do a very quick reading. Just a few cards, some messages for the mid-month of January and associating it with the astrology of the moment, okay? So the reason why I want to do this chat is because at the moment where I'm recording this video, right now Mars has just entered Taurus and Mercury has just entered Aquarius, and Mercury has now joined Saturn and Jupiter in Aquarius, and they are all squaring Mars in Taurus. And if you didn't watch my video about the Saturn-Jupiter conjunction, I'm gonna link it up here so you can check it as well. I talk about all the zodiacs and how this conjunction is affecting each one of them. But here, let's talk about you, Cancer. So Cancer rising and Cancer sun. And let me tell you first about the nature of Taurus and the nature of Aquarius. They are both fixed signs. And when different planets are in signs of the same modality, so fixed, they can be either squaring or opposing each other. In this case, they are squaring because Aquarius comes right before Taurus. And since they are fixed signs, they are quite stubborn. Okay? Fixed signs want things their own way. They think that their way is better for whatever reason, depending on the nature of the sign, okay? So for instance, Aquarius, when a planet enters Aquarius, it is a bit of a stubborn planet, but that's because Aquarius is that innovative, creative, out-of-the-box sign. And they think, my way is better because it's the new way. That's how society should work. Now, when a planet enters Taurus, they are also stubborn, but that's because Taurus is a slow-moving zodiac. So when a planet enters it, it's like, it took me a long time to start moving. Now that I started moving, I'm not going to change my course. I'm going to continue doing things like this. Okay? So they are in there having this relationship. Mars in Taurus wants to keep on moving in that direction. Mars is where we put our energy, is how we go after things, is the active principle of our persona. And Mars in Taurus, it has started a spark, an initiative when it was in Aries, and now it wants to continue on its course in Taurus. Now, Jupiter and Saturn in Aquarius wants us to open up to new ways of being, to new ways of seeing things, okay? So let's take a look. In your chart, I have your chart here in my laptop, and I'm taking a look at it. And Saturn and Jupiter in Aquarius is happening in your 8th house. The 8th house is the house of the deep unconscious, not unconscious, subconscious patterns. They are things that we know we have in our psyche, but we keep wanting to, sweep it under the carpet. We want to keep it hidden in there. We don't want people to see. So it's the house of crisis. It's a house of Scorpio. And what Scorpio wants to bring these things from the depth so that they can be illuminated and dealt with. So with Saturn and Jupiter in there, they want you to take a good look into your deep unconscious patterns, transform them, okay? There's a new way of being. Wow. You can't make these things up. You really can't. I just got the card Death for you, okay? So this is the Death card. And the Death card in the tarot is the card of Scorpio, is the card of Pluto, is the card of the 8th house. So how perfect is that? And so you're being asked to take a big look into yourself, to transform yourself, okay? To acknowledge your patterns, to acknowledge your behavior, those things in your psyche that you keep wanting to avoid, you keep wanting to leave it for later. And the problem is that Mars in Taurus is happening in your 11th house, which is the house of the goals and dreams, but it's also the house of the collective, of the society. Okay. And I think that we always have a very important lesson to learn from our same modality zodiacs. And what is the 11th house learning from the 8th house? What is Aquarius learning from Scorpio? Aquarius should learn from Scorpio that you can't focus on society, you can't focus on the collective, you can't lose the association with your own self before you actually understand and accept who you are yourself. Okay? Because the 11th house is the most impersonal house. It's on the way to the 12th, and it's very impersonal. So it's not about the me, it's about the us. It's about how do I fit in society, how are we all one. But in order to get there, in order to worry about the environment, the society, the groups, the us, we need to heal our own self first. It's only after transforming ourselves that we transform society, because we ourselves, we are part of that society. And that's something that Aquarius struggles with sometimes. Okay? So Mars in the 11th house, Jupiter and Saturn in the 8th house. There is this big energy. Mars wants to keep moving towards the collective. Mars, and in Taurus, it doesn't want to change its course. It's like, no, we need to focus on the social causes. We need to focus on what is best for all of us as a society. We need to focus on our goals, our dreams, our long-term dreams, because that's also 11th house matters. But then Jupiter and Saturn are saying, yeah, buddy, we do. But the thing is, you need to transform your own habits first. You need to take a deep look, a critical, honest look into your own unhealed patterns first. And both these energies, they are pulling equally strongly into these opposite directions. Not opposite, they are not in opposition, but in these different directions. And this is not only with you, Cancer. This is going on for all the zodiacs. We are all feeling stubborn right now. With these energies in the fixed signs, we are all feeling stubborn, okay? But for each one of us, it will happen in a different area of our lives, depending on the house where it's falling. So transformation, inner healing. We got 3 major arcana here for you. We need to transform ourselves first. We need to deal with our own unhealed patterns, with our own psyche. We need to allow patience for that to flow before we focus on society. We are part of society. We as an individual are part of that society. And by transforming ourselves, we are transforming society by consequence. So there will be these confronting needs in you throughout the month of January. And it's important to connect both. It's important to integrate both, okay? Because also because Scorpio also needs to learn from Aquarius. The 8th house also needs to learn from the 11th house that life is also not only about internal crisis, it's also about giving back to the outside world. It's also about contributing to society. So one zodiac is learning from the other, and they need to be able to integrate these needs in a manner that is flowing, that is conducive. So this is a month, and this is your card, the Chariot, and it's coming in the reverse. So you, yourself, Cancer, you are a cardinal sign. You want things to start, right? You want to have that initial spark and go. The Chariot is fast movement, just go. But you will feel very limited this month. You will feel that doesn't matter how much effort you put, you can't move forward. And that's because that square is really keeping you stuck in there. And as I said, don't blame yourself, because it's going on for all of us. But you need to balance both things. Before you move forward, you need to balance the need for personal transformation with the needs of the collective, with the needs of serving the collective and moving towards your goals. You need to balance those two things. So this month, you might feel like you're not moving, you're just not going anywhere, which makes a lot of sense because Mars in Taurus moves very slowly. And I think that once Mars meets Uranus, things will shaken up a little bit, but we are not there yet. It's 5 degrees apart. Right now, I think we all need to learn how to be patient. And we all need to learn how to deal with these squaring energies. So let's get some oracle cards just to close off your reading. Yes. Fork in the road. Again, that push and pull energy of not being able where to go because both pulls are equally strong. It's a tight square. We are in a very tight square between Mars and Saturn, Jupiter there. So the energies are pulling equally strongly. And I think that right now you can allow yourself to just stay here and not take any direction, you know? With this Chariot in the reverse, it's okay that until the end of January, we all, as a collective, we all just allow ourselves to sit still and not make harsh movements, not make harsh decisions. We can, at this moment, just sit at this fork on the road and daydream a bit, consider all our options a bit, and see how we can integrate and get the best of out of our options, and then move forward. I got 2 cards, but I'm only gonna get the first one for you. So we got the Sacred Fool. And then I think of the Fool card of the tarot. And the Fool is ruled by Uranus, which is the ruler of Aquarius. We are all wanting to, things to gain movement, you know? It's like we want things to gain momentum. We all want it. We all want to just jump from that cliff. And we need to understand that sometimes we just can't. Sometimes the only thing we can do is sit at the edge of that cliff and contemplate the jump that we are about to do, that we are about to go on to, because we are all stuck with this fork on the road. There's just so much blocked energies going on right now, and so much frustration of everybody wanting to gain momentum. We just want the energy to gain momentum, and it's never gaining, like just feels so stuck. But we need to allow ourselves the time to just contemplate the abysm before we jump with the Fool. Right, Temperance. We need to allow the flow of things. And I had a similar conversation with Gemini as well. We need to allow the flow. Sometimes things just need to flow for a little bit without us doing anything. Let's get one last message. Oops. Dragonfly Spirit, truth transcends illusion. So the truth about our own self, the truth that hides in the 8th house, because the 8th house is the house of truth, the hidden truths as well. Yeah, it's scary to go into the depths of our own psyche, can be very scary. Pluto is a scary planet to deal with. Especially if you don't have strong Pluto in your chart, then you might not be used to that transformation process. But the truth transcends illusion. Sometimes there are ugly truths about ourselves that we just need to face. Because I always say this here in the channel, and I have Sun conjunct Pluto natally, so but we can only transform that which we see, that which we acknowledge. If we want to close our eyes and pretend that that part of ourselves doesn't exist because we don't want to accept it, because either because of shame or because it's too much work to work on it, whatever the reason may be, you know, maybe pride, maybe insecurity to face the ugly part of ourselves, whatever the reason may be. If we just deny to see the ugly parts of ourselves, we cannot transform it. And we all have ugly parts. All of us, every single one of us, we have something ugly inside of us. But we can only transform that if we face it. So it's very important here, Cancer, to face it. So that's all I have for you, Cancer. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you next month. Take care. Bye-bye.